This is the Just Because Buzz, Thread Tales number 10. It's Thursday, December 31st, and it's Happy New Year's Eve. So welcome. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. I have a lot of things I want to share with you. Thank you for subscribing and liking, and I have new subscribers since I last did my video early in December. So thank you for joining us, and I hope to get more subscribers as the new year breaks through, and see what we can get into. Lots of stitchy projects. So I just want to get right into it and spend some time with you going over some of my finishes, some of my FFOs, some of the things I plan to do in 2021, and some haul, and we'll just see what all I can show you today. And let's jump right in. So the first thing I want to show you, as usual, is a old FFO. And this was a project, I'm not sure how I came about even to know about it. I think I did it as a teenager or maybe in my early 20s, and it made it into a pillow for my grandmother. And I'm sure my mom helped me with this, the part making it into the pillow, because I don't think I was doing a lot of sewing. I think I recruited her to help me with this pillow, which she also helped me with a lot of other things in life. Thanks, Mom. And recently she helped me with another project we'll be showing you shortly here. But this first thing is a chicken scratch pillow. It's a big star. And I had made it for my grandmother, and she's passed now, but got it back, and I use it in my decor. It's great for Christmas and great for 4th of July, and just fun to have it out. But it's called Chicken Scratch, and you do it on gingham, and it's a lot of fun to make. Haven't really done any since, I don't think, but I do like this piece. Alright, so I'm going to move into some new FFOs. I'm going to insert a picture here. So Louise, if you are watching and you have not gotten with Jessica to get your goodies that I sent you, you need to look away, mute, do something. If you have gotten your goodies, then you'll see what you got. So I was able to stitch her a little something for Christmas, and I'll insert a picture here. And it was a lot of fun. I got to finish it using a Priscilla and Chelsea tutorial on ideas on how to finish cross-stitch projects and mounting them on a certain piece that you might find at Hobby Lobby or Joann's or Michael's or a thrift store. So it was fun to create this for her. So I had to go ahead and ship it while I had Jessica here, my daughter, who was headed back to Alabama after Christmas. So she was my little carrier. So anyway, I don't have it in hand, but the picture will have to do. The next thing is actually my Yo-Yo Christmas tree project. And I showed this on my tutorial when I did my Yo-Yo tutorial, and you can go back and look at that. But I finished this and quilted it, and I showed it on my Instagram page and had it sitting on my church pew downstairs in my dining room. And I've just enjoyed looking at this piece through the season, and it was such a fun thing to do. And the inspiration came from a piece from Among Friends Quilt Shop in Louisville, Kentucky. They had a piece hanging in their shop, and they allowed me to take a picture of it. And this is an inspiration from that piece. And then I alluded to my mom helping me with a project, and on the back of my chair here is my bullseye quilt. And she came up at Thanksgiving and said, "Do you have anything you need to have bound?" And I was like, "Well, I'm working on my bullseye quilt, but it's not quite done." And so the day after Thanksgiving, I got up here and finished quilting it, and she took it home with her, and she trimmed up the quilt and bound it for me, and I just love it. And it turned out great. It's such a fun quilt, and it has lots of great memories from my Quilt Guild in Enterprise. We did a swap, so you would make one block that had 3 rings in it, and then you would cut that block apart, and then you would trade blocks, and then you sew 4 different ones back together to get this bullseye effect. And then when you wash it, I haven't washed mine yet, but when you wash it, it's raw edge, so it's going to fray, it's going to get a lot of texture. So I'm excited to have this one finished. I have a Christmas one that's already pieced and needs the borders on it and everything, but I have a Christmas one that I'll hopefully have for next year. But thanks, Mom. I really appreciate you helping me, and she did a beautiful job. That's the bullseye. And then when I was traveling a couple of years ago, I used to go to a little town called Newton, Kansas, and they have a store there called Charlotte's So Natural, and she had a kit there, and it was the Sweetwater Snowman mug mat kit, and I picked up the kit, and these are the little snowman kit, mug rug kit, and there's 4 of them. And here's the back, and it uses the Basel. It's a double-sided fusible interfacing that has a lot of texture to it, and that's what's inside. And so you piece this part, sew on your, this is a piece of wool felt, and do your stitching, and then you iron it on. And so I'm still learning a little bit about it. It's got some bubbles in here, so I may have to go back and hit it with the iron a little bit. I was trying to be careful, but it does give it a nice body and kind of a stiffness to it. And I have some other pieces of the Basel to use for placemats, so tried this as a small project first. But finished those. There's 4 of those. That was fun. And then I participated with the Mary and Minty sew along. I think a lot of people did that. Brenda Gervais with By Needle and Thread was so sweet to offer a free pattern in December, and it's the Mary and Minty. This was some of the instructions that she gave, and you could go to her Facebook page, and all the information is there, and then the chart is there. And so I finished mine, and I mounted mine on a vintage spool. And my fabric is, I believe, a 32 count. It's coffee tea dye that I dyed myself. And I didn't have a lot of the called for threads that she recommended, so I just kind of did my own thread conversion. But it is such a cute stitch. It's actually my first Brenda Gervais pattern that I got to do, so I'm pretty excited about it. And then I found this vintage spool over in Grand Rapids, Ohio. Cute little town. I was looking for it for another project for finishing, but only could find one, and I wanted 2 for that project, but as it turns out, just found the one. And then I used Vanna Pfeiffer, Twisted Stitcher, her tutorial for making the cording, and I hung it on a little tree in our foyer area, and I was really pleased with how it turned out. I used this for the backing, and I did use a little bit of fusible fleece in the center interfacing to give it a little puff. So this was a lot of fun. I really enjoy making this piece, and it was fun to do a stitch along and see everybody's progress and how they wound up mounting theirs or finishing theirs. It was just a lot of fun. And thank you so much, Brenda, for your generosity and sharing your gifts with us. Okay, so now I'm going to go into finished cross stitch, what I've been working on through the holidays. I do like to stitch in season. I like to stitch anything, but I do like to stitch in season, so that was fun for me. So I have a couple of pieces that I wanted to share with you if I can find them. Let's see. So the first one was a Stitchalong with pine needles online. This is just the page that you could find on her website. It's Pine Needles Online. I'll try to link it below. And today might be the last day that you can get this, because I think it's going to go into a pattern and you'll have to purchase it at that point. But she started on December 1st. You could download the picture, and each day in December up until the 25th, you had a little motif in her Christmas boxes to stitch. And it was so much fun. So I'm going to show that to you real quick. Get me a board. So here it is. This was so much fun, and just, it was the anticipation of what each day would have for the motif was fun. I did change a few colors. My mittens are pink, and I think in the pattern it was blue. And this little cake plate was blue, but I changed mine to green to kind of look like the, I believe it's called jadeite in some of the antique stores. But I just love it. And I'm going to probably make mine into a pillow to go on my church pew with all my other Christmas pillows. So, love how this turned out. This is stitched on 25 count Lugana. It's a Wedgwood blue. And it was a joy to stitch. Thank you so much, Sharon. What a great stitch. It was fun. All right. I'll lay that aside. The next Christmas or winter stitching that I did is thanks to Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. She put out some Prim Winter stitches with different titles: Love, Joy, Peace, Home, and Faith. And I decided to take 3 of them and put them side by side, and we'll make a pillow out of them. And the order that I put them in kind of mimics December, January, and February, and I think you'll see what I mean when I show you. So this is stitched on a 28 count Quaker cloth on ivory. And so joy for Christmas, peace for January, and love for February. Kind of is a great winter piece. Really enjoyed stitching these. I did a little bit of my own color conversion in some of the things, but mostly I think I did her colors. But it was so much fun. So I plan to finish it as a little pillow as well. I think that would be fun. Thank you, Melissa, for the patterns. That was really, really sweet of you to keep giving us such cute patterns. And then, let's see. This little piece came from the Just Cross Stitch magazine. It's not in the best repair. I found it at a thrift store, and it's not in good repair at all. But anyway, I've been able to stitch out of it. So I stitched this piece, and this is a testimony to thread dye lots changing over time, and you'll see what I mean. I decided to change the color of the house to try to match my house, and you can see the color change there. This was a 927 DMC, and when I went and purchased the next skein when I ran out, yeah, that's the color change. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it. It's just kind of a testimony of and reminder that the colors do change, and it's 2020, so it'll be made into an ornament, and I'll cherish it. Okay, so those were my finished cross stitch pieces. Now I'm going to show you some whips, and my whips, some of them I've shown you, some of them you haven't seen, because I honestly forgot about them, and they've been in my very first project bag that I ever got for cross stitch. They've been in that bag, and I just forget about them. And so I pulled them out to show you and to be accountable for finishing them. And I don't think I have any other major whips. I have a few little pieces that need charms on them, but for the cross stitch part, it's completed. So these are the 5 whips that I have that I would like to complete this year. And I'm pretty close on some of them, not all of them. So the very first one is one I showed you back in the fall that I was so excited to get. And this is the Blackbird Design Giving Thanks mat. And I'm stitching it on black. And this is a Joe blend that I dyed. And I'm having trouble seeing it, honestly. So I haven't gotten very much done on it at all. So anyway, that's my start, because I've had such a challenge seeing it. So I'm going to check and see how I do up here in my sewing room with more light sitting by the window, and see how I can doing it that way, because my lighting downstairs when I'm watching TV is not as great, especially at night. And so we'll see. And the funny thing about my project bag, I think I may have told you last time that I made a project bag out of orphan blocks, and the quilted piece that I made the original blocks for is not yet done. Yeah, need to finish that piece. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is my ABC Alphabet Treasures by Mill Hill. This is a project that I've been working on for 20 years, because I initially had 2000 as the final date. I had stitched in it, and I've since taken that out. And I'm waiting on about 5 charms. I went to Craft Gallery on Tuesday, and I'm waiting on about 5 charms. So this is my piece. And as you can see, I changed it to 2020, but I may have to take out the 0 and change it to 2021, because it's not going to get done this year. But I have added quite a bit. What I'm missing is a strawberry charm there. I have 2 stars to put on the Q. I have a butterfly to put here. I have more charms to put on the Y. And then I'll be done. But I've added quite a bit. I've added these charms. I've added a button there, a little charm there. I've added quite a bit since I last showed it to you. But I did take it to Craft Gallery on Tuesday and got an estimate from Miss Paula about how much it would cost to frame it. I have a gift certificate that my husband gave me for our anniversary that I haven't used yet. And so she gave me an estimate of how much it would cost to frame it, so I would know how much was left on my gift certificate that I could spend on some fun things that I'll show you here in a minute. So this is coming along. I've got, like I said, I have 5, I believe it's 5 charms left to put on this, and then I can secure all the charms and iron it, and then get it back to Miss Paula so she can frame it. We've picked out the frame. We're not going to put glass on it. We've got it all ready to go as far as what needs to happen next after I get the charms on it. And they've ordered the charms for me, and hopefully I'll be able to get them. That's been the challenge, is getting those charms. Okay, so another whip that I'm working on, and just for fun, just to have something to stitch on, I decided to start the Lori Holt Daddy's Tractor. And I just had a scrap piece of linen, not even sure what kind of linen it is. But this has kind of been my little stitch at night, and I've been working on the little tractor. I'm not sure I'm going to keep the smoke that color. I may change that to a gray. I may change this part to a gray too. I'm not sure I like that color, but that's okay. All right. So that's those whips. Now these are whips that you have not seen ever before, besides the little tractor. So this one whip has a story. When I lived in Enterprise, we had a friend that was in our quilt guild that was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. And when she was diagnosed, she made a decision to, while she was living, to give all her quilting and stitching things away. And that to me was one of the most courageous things to do, knowing that your time was limited and that you were going to share with your friends. So she knew I liked bees, and so she had started this sampler and almost had it finished and gifted it to me. And as you can see, it's in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. And I just have a little bit left to do on this. I'm sorry I didn't even iron it. I didn't even think about ironing today, but I should have, because it's definitely worthy of being ironed and taken well care of. But so anyway, what I need to do is up here on the bees. You can see where she had stitched in the bee body, so now I'm doing the back stitch on the bees. So there's a few here to finish, and then this will be done, and I'll get it framed. Probably take it back down the craft gallery and get it framed. And what a special lady to entrust me with this, and knowing that I liked bees. And if you've ever watched the end of my little video song and how it signs off, there's a queen bee doll in that very end of my videos, and she made that doll. She's a very talented lady. So this is a treasure, and I need to get it finished. The other thing that I'm working on is a Mill Hill kit, and it's the Cardinals. And this one's called Cardinal Wreath, and it has the beads, and then it also has the pretty heart-shaped button there. And this is my progress on it. I decided not to do it on the perforated paper. Again, I didn't iron my things. I didn't even think about that. But anyway, that's my progress so far. I've got some of the beading in and some of the cross stitch. This is a piece that there's a lot of just all over stitching. It's all the little branches and everything. It's a challenging little piece, but I will get back to it and I'll enjoy it. So those are my 5 whips that I'm sharing with you that I want to complete for this year. So now I want to move into my haul. And Christmas, I want to share just kind of some of the things that I received for Christmas, and then I'm going to share with you some things that I purchased with my gift card at Craft Gallery on Tuesday. So first I'm going to do Christmas. So as you know, I've been working on my Farm Girl Vintage quilt with my friend Louise, and I needed backing and border, and so I chose Lori Holt's it's honey bandana print, and this will be the backing for that quilt. So I was gifted this from my sister for Christmas. And then I received some rotary blades from my mama and my daddy. So those are always helpful. And then my mom also sent, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it or not. She sent me this little article on needles. And, oh, here it is. Sewing machine needles. And I might be able to try to link it below, but it was a very good read, and she had a very good information about sewing machine needles and the different types of needles that you would want to use for different reasons as far as piecing or quilting. So this was a great article. I'll see if I can find a way to link it below. And then inside the little article, she tucked in some needles for me. So thank you again, Mama. And then Mama made a bookmark. Isn't that cute? So it's got a little rubber hairband kind of tie, and this goes over the book, over the button. Very cute. And then my daughter Jessica, she's been busy knitting, and so she made me these cute little knitted dishcloths. Aren't they fun? She knows how much I love red and blue. These are so cute. Thank you, Jessica. And then this is kind of a save the stitches. So my granny was a cross stitcher, my dad's mom, and Mama found these in her stash, and so she gifted them to me so I could do something with them. So this was my granny's stitching, and it says, "No one said I was perfect, but I sure have some great parts." So that's one of them. And the other one, my mind is already made up. Don't confuse me with the facts. Isn't that cute? So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with these frog stitches. They're very cute. And then my friend Louise sent me something by my little daughter Jessica. And you are going to love this. This is Yo-Yo garland. It's Christmas garland. Look at this. How fun. Louise went to a estate sale a while back, and she came home with a toter full of yo-yos. And she says she hasn't even scratched the surface for the number of yo-yos that she put in my garland compared to the number of yo-yos that were in that toter. But these are just so much fun. She just sewed them together and made a garland for me. Is that not fun? Oh gosh, I can't wait to decorate my craft room next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And this will be part of it. And then, as you know, we've been working on Farm Girl Vintage, and we've really enjoyed that so much. Lori Holt's designs are so much fun. And she recently got the Christmas book, the Vintage Christmas book, and she made a pillow for me for my church pew. And isn't it just adorable? She quilted it and pieced it, and I just love it. Thank you, Louise. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Just adorable. A little tree and a snow globe. So it can stay out all winter. And she did a little envelope closure on the back. Just love it. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, thank you. All right. And then the other thing Louise sent me by my daughter is a find. She sent me a couple things, but this was a find that she noticed in a estate sale store. So after they have the estate sale, then some of the things that don't sell go into the store in Enterprise, Alabama. And she found this piece, and it needs a little work, but look at that. It's like I saved the stitches, but it's buttoned. And look at the vase is wool, and it has some stitching on it. I just really like this piece. So it is on, we think it's on velvet. I've got to take it apart. It's slipped a little bit in the frame, but I just thought that was great. And the framing on the back, a little duct tape, yeah. We're going to have to see if we can get that off, and so I can get it repaired and get it situated in the frame a little better. I don't mind the frame, and it'll go up on this wall back here with my other pieces that have some black in them. Anyway, thank you, Louise, for grabbing that for me. She also sent me a piece, cross-stitch piece, Amazing Grace. It's a chart that she had already. And then at an estate sale, I saw this book sitting on a shelf, and Louise, was going to this estate sale, and I saw this book on the shelf and said, if you can get it, great. If not, that's okay. But look, it's an encyclopedia, the complete encyclopedia of needlework. So, what a treasure, I think. It's Goes from everything from cross stitch to knitting to tapestry, applique, embroidery, linen embroidery, just lace, all kinds of techniques. Just a great resource for my stitching library. So I'm very thankful to have that. And then another fun thing that I received from my girls is I love to do puzzles, and I've liked doing puzzles for years. And Springbok is my favorite brand. And look at those hexie quilts. So that'll be fun to do. Thank you, Jessica and Katie. Very fun. All right, so now I want to get to my haul from Craft Gallery. As I said, I had gotten a nice gift certificate from my husband for our anniversary back in November, and just hadn't had an opportunity to go down to Craft Gallery. And Tuesday, I got all my charms put on my ABC sampler because I wanted to take it down there with everything that I had on it, and then talk to them about which ones I needed and to see if they had any other ones that would work. So I did that, and once I got that ready, I took off down there, and they were holding two things for me already that I had asked them to hold for me, knowing I was coming down to use my gift certificate. So they were holding two pieces. One of the pieces that they were holding for me was Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. And I was in really high hopes of kitting this up while I was there. I had just asked them to hold the pattern for me, and then when I got there, we would pick the linen and the threads. But there are so many people working on this project right now that the threads are not available, and they did not have the linen that's called for. They don't sell the linen that's called for, and I didn't want to purchase linen until I could see threads sitting on top of it. So this is going to be on hold, but I do have the pattern, and I'm very excited to try this. This won't be my first sampler to work on, but it'll be my first Brenda Gervais sampler to work on. And it is such a beautiful pattern. I've seen so many gorgeous stitching pieces that stitchers are making with this, and some of the changes that they've made that are just beautiful. But it's beautiful just like it is. It also has a pincushion option on the back too, so you can make that as well. But it's a beautiful chart, and I'll look forward to stitching it, and whenever that time comes and I'm able to get the materials I need. So that was one thing that they were holding for me. The other thing that they were holding for me is the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher Winter Edition. And I was excited to get this. This is, I've been able to get all of the editions for this year. So it was kind of fun to be able to do that. And I did receive a subscription to this magazine for 2021 for Christmas. So that's a lot of fun. But a lot of you have seen this, and it has some wonderful projects. So I'm excited to delve into it and try some things. So since I couldn't kit Winter Rose Manor, I decided that I would purchase another project that I could kit that could be my New Year, New Start. So I decided to purchase Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Designs. And the reason, besides all the beautiful charts in this book, this is my first Blackbird book purchase, besides what I've already got for the Giving Thanks mat. But as far as a book, this was my first purchase. And I'm excited because of this piece right here. This is called Mighty Oak. And the area that I live right now is called Oak Openings. It's a big park and lots of oak trees. And my house sits on the edge of that. And there are a ton of oak trees in my yard, and acorns and squirrels and lots of leaves. And I thought, how appropriate to stitch this piece. And so I am going to change the color of the house to look more like the house color of our home now. And I'm excited. So let me show you the linen that I chose. I did not go with the called for linen. I went with a Picture This Plus fog linen. And like I said, I changed the color of the house. Let's see if I can hold all this up so you can kind of see. So that's a good representation of the linen and the different threads. If I can hold it up right. And so this will be the color of the house, and then these are all the called for. I'm missing about 3 called for, so we'll get those in. But this is my New Year, New Start. And I can show you probably a better picture of this. That's a bigger picture of it. So it says, "Mighty oaks from little acorns grow." And how appropriate for me and where I live right now. And excited. Even though it's a fall piece, it's going to be my New Year, New Start. And I'll hopefully have it done by the fall. So the next thing I purchased which is something I've wanted for a while, and it's the Project Quarantine Stay Home and Stitch by Brenda Gervais. And I have a 2020 charm that I'll use and put on this. And I also, instead of the red that is called for, I've had my eye on this Louisiana hot sauce red by Weeks Dye Works. And I'm a Louisiana girl, so that's my home state. So I thought that would just be fun to incorporate this thread into this piece as the red. And I also have a blue picked out. I'm not sure where it is right now, but I've got to pick out the rest of the colors and get it kitted. But even though I won't get to stitch it until 2021, I will put the 2020 charm on it. All right. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is some exciting news about a sampler that I purchased back in September. So during Sampler September, people were working on samplers. Well, I didn't have one to work on, but I was bidding on one. And I wound up purchasing it, and I'd like to recreate it. And I'm not ready to show it to you yet, but I'll show you the fabric that I picked and some threads that I picked. I'll grab that real quick. The ladies at Craft Gallery helped me pick the fabric, and this is a Alma cloth sand color. It's 28 count, and that's what we think is the count of the antique sampler that I purchased. And it's blowing it out a little bit. It's a little bit darker than that. They suggested that I coffee tea dye it to try to help with making it look a little more authentic. And then these are the thread colors that I chose to replicate in the sampler. So this gives you an idea of the colors that are going to be in the sampler. This indigo blue, the greens. There's a gorgeous iris in that. There's roses. There's a little church. And so this is something I'll be working on in the coming year and hopefully get to share with you very soon. So I'm excited about that. So plans. I wanted to share with you my 2021 plans. I will be doing a New Year, New Start, and like I said, that's The Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Design. I'm going to do Mighty Oak, and that will be tomorrow. I get to start that. And then my whips, going forward are going to be Give Thanks, the ABCs, the Mill Hill Cardinals, and the Bee Sampler, as well as the little tractor that I'm working on now. And then I also would like to stitch one Christmas ornament a month. There is a Stitchalong, and I'm not sure about the hashtag, but I'll try to link it below, that's encouraging us to try to do one ornament a month. And it got a lot of excitement, I think. And so I may try to do that too. I already have some ornaments already stitched, and so I just need to finish those. So I kind of have a head start on that. So, you know, I want to definitely join in on that. And then I've set some goals for myself. Finishing, one of the goals that I have is to finish more, fully finish it, than have starts. And that can be challenging because I really enjoy starting new projects, but I have lots of quilting projects and have a few cross-stitch projects that I really want to finish. So I set a little goal for myself. For every 5 fully finished cross-stitch pieces, I can start something new if I want to. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. And then I do want to finish that banner for my No Roll Naturals. I know I keep talking about that, and I've got them all ready. I just need to cut out the little banner pieces and see if my idea is going to work. And then quilting, my goals there is I definitely want to finish my Farm Girl Vintage top, and then figure out how I'm going to have it quilted, if I'm going to do it or if I'm going to have it professionally quilted. And then I need to finish my old Tannenbaum. I did put the 4 corner blocks. Those are log cabin blocks at the top, and then there's 2 more on the bottom. I did do those since we last visited. I have a Valentine quilt that I'm working on, and so I'd like to work on that. Need to quilt French roses. So French roses is a similar technique to the bullseye quilt. It's raw edge, just need to layer it and quilt it, and I can do that myself, so I want to do that. And then I have a quilt called Summer Swag, and I'd like to get it quilted. It's already pieced and ready to go. It's a Krista Mosier quilt, and I'd love to have it ready for this summer. It's a red, white, and blue quilt that I did. So those are some of my goals. I have a new quilter's planner that this is what I use for organizing my quilt, and it's just my day planner as well. I've used this for several years now. It has a place where I can write all my projects for quilting in. So we'll try to figure out how to use it for my cross stitch too. I may have to insert some pages or something. But anyway, I use this to write down all my projects, and there's a way to track your progress. So got to get that going today. Just want to leave you with an encouraging word. Again, I was in my devotional, Jesus Calling. If you don't have this devotional, I would highly recommend that you get it. It is one of the best devotionals I've ever read over and over and over again. And they're short devotionals. It's just a 1-page devotional for each day, but she backs it with scripture, 2 or 3, 4 scriptures throughout the devotional she gives you to look up. It is just marvelous, and it is amazing how each time you read for that day, it fits. It's just amazing, no matter what you're going through. But this is a wonderful, wonderful devotional, and it helps you just jump into the Word and get more encouragement. So I would highly encourage you to get this if you don't already have it. And there's others too. There's Jesus Always, and there's several others that you could get as well. So I highly recommend this one. But today she was talking about the Prince of Peace and Jesus being our Prince of Peace. And what better way to end the day or end the year knowing that Jesus is our Prince of Peace, and that no matter what happens, He is Lord of all. He's King of Kings. And if you rest in that, you can get through the hardest of times and the best of times, praising Him for what He's done. This has been a challenging year for a lot of us. We haven't gotten to do some of the things we normally get to do, but on the other hand, I've gotten to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have gotten to do if we haven't been in the situation that we're in. So I'm so thankful. It's been a hard year, but it's been a great year, and I'm thankful regardless. So I hope you can find joy in that. I hope you can find peace in the new year. Thank you so much for joining me on my journey through my Thread Tales number 10. And I hope you'll join me again. I'm going to try to be on here every 2 weeks like I had started, and do updates and encouraging. And I have some new things that I'm going to be adding to my channel when I talk with you. And I think I'm going to feature a recipe each time. So let's look forward to that. I enjoy cooking, so that'll be fun. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a blessed new year, and that you will keep the faith, that you will always trust in the one who cares about the little things. If he can care about how pretty the lilies are and how much he cares for the sparrows, he definitely cares for you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.